Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I created Magic and Miracles with one purpose only: to help people of all walks of life really create the life of their dreams and to manifest things into existence that they really desire and have desired for a long time. All the information for me is below. If you'd like to be in coaching with me, please understand you need to first book a 1-hour session, sign the coaching agreement by hand, and most importantly, read through it and get familiar with it. It's a very reasonable agreement, but you need to get familiar with the rules, how my coaching works. And also, please do get familiar with my material. Please don't just watch one video. Please get familiar with my personality and make sure that it is in accord with yours. I'm very direct, very thorough, very honest. Upon conclusion of that first session, if we both feel that it's a good match and we can work well together, then you very much expected to book the coaching signature package, of which I recommend 2 to 3 months in coaching with me. All right. If you have any questions about that, all the information is below and you can email me. There are other packages on my website. And again, I advise that you start out with the signature coaching package because chances are there's a lot of drama, trauma, panorama to work through. Like I said, I'm very thorough. I start with your history. We cover everything because I want to get to know you. I want to get to know what we're here to fix. Okay. And I'm going to go into this subject, and it's going to become more obvious to you that I'm unlike any other coach. This coaching is unlike any other coaching that you've ever seen. I'm unlike any other coach you've ever met, and my coaching is unlike any other coaching that you've ever seen because it is very thorough. I have a lot of psychology training, but I am not a psychologist. Okay, I'm not a therapist. I am a coach. So it's the marriage of two with me that you get a lot of knowledge of psychology as well as manifestation. All right. I've been a coach for 10 years and on my own personal journey for 15 years. And I've perfected all the methods that I teach in my coaching because I've tried them first on myself and then on my clients. Thousands of people have been through it. If you come humble, ready to rock and roll and really work diligently, you will achieve magnificent results. So thank you to everybody again for showing up to my live yesterday on Saturday. And just a reminder, we're going to have lives going forward on Wednesdays and on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Wednesday, it'll be 30 minutes. And on Saturday, we'll plan for 30 minutes. If we'll go over, even better for you. So I wanted to talk about this subject because I saw somebody watch my old video from like 2 years ago now. Holy shit bananas, about how to change a narcissist. And I went back and re-listened to the audio, and I really want to not correct myself, but to add certain dimensions to it. Because the way that I recorded that audio, it was with the understanding that it's about a specific person, a romantic relationship, something that has a direct relationship to you, okay? This is and I kind of say it, but not really. The other thing that I want to discuss, and this is really important, okay? Because I don't want to sell false hope to anybody. And I don't want to misrepresent anything. And it just, the way that I recorded that audio, it sounded a little bit like, it's all possible. Any narcissist is changeable. Now, listen closely when I explain. Narcissists are changeable because obviously this is your reality. You create your reality, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, though, yes, the narcissist, if it's especially, I'm not talking about like a hater or somebody, whatever, irrelevant. I'm talking about your personal relationships. This is definitely a reflection on the kind of fears you carry right now, the kind of wounds, okay, the unhealed wounds. If you have narcissists showing up in your life, like I used to have in my 20s, in my dating career, you could say, I've had, a few narcissists show up, all right? One of them I did change. And then later another one in, somebody that I directly have to interact with. And, listen, I have spoken about this person in many different ways. And I don't really particularly want to fill in more details because, as it is, there's a lot of information about me on the internet, and I don't really want to reveal that person's, identity. What I want to stress is this. Changing a narcissist depends solely, and really pay attention when I'm saying to you, how much of damage has gone on, okay? How much of the damage they caused you. And I quickly mentioned it in the old audio from 2 years ago. It's like sometimes there has been so much that already has gone on. It's beyond repair. Because narcissists are, as you know, on the spectrum. And some of them are, just downright evil. I'm not going to kind of like demonize them. They're not that powerful. They're really, really weak, kind of like demented people. Bordering on like, being psychotic in some cases. But if it's somebody who is narcissistic but hasn't been abusive to you, yeah, you can change that person. If it's just somebody who was an asshole to you, disregarded your feelings, even cheated on you, right? We're not talking repetitive cheating though, right? We're not talking repetitive disregard of your, like, that you're staying with that person. Why are you staying and committing to this abuse? That's the problem. Because I'm not teaching to just sit on the fucking couch or wherever it is you're sitting and, yeah, let's manifest some version. No, how about you stand up for yourself? The way that I stood up for myself in my life yesterday because yet another fucking hater showed up or, under a fake account and this and that, okay? It's a matter of standing up for yourself. Why are you committing to this abuse? There is no good reason. I don't care for the circumstances you're in. You kind of, if you're playing into this abuse, if it's gone on, like nothing is changing, right? Let's just leave manifestation aside for just a second. And you're seeing this person demonstrates to you like time after time after time that they don't give a flying fuck about your emotions. Why would you stay with a person like that? Why? Okay, job one, if you ever were to like entertain manifesting a different version of them, would be doing something in the 3D. But don't you think? You're all grown-ups here, no? So standing up for yourself is job one. And so that is completely unavoidable. You are not going to manifest any other fucking version of this person if you're just going to downright completely accept their abuse over and over and over again. No fucking way. Now, the other kind of subsection here is that maybe enough abuse has gone on. This is on the other side now. There's a person, let's just say a kind of person that continues to put up with abuse. Used to be me. Hi, how are you? Okay, with my drug addict ex, it went to such depth of, complete abuse that, listen, if it wasn't for divine intervention, like I mentioned several times on my channel, I don't know what would have happened. But I did pray for this divine intervention, and I also did stand up for myself. We had ugly fights, there was that, but I did not just sit there and take it, okay? This is a complete disservice to you if you're doing that. No change will happen that way. You as a person, I don't care if it's a narcissist or a toxic person or a person is just completely being disrespectful to you. I myself, I don't do disrespect. I don't do this fucking bullshit where people just like think that they can do whatever. No fucking way. I have too much respect for myself. I don't have time for people who want to be disrespectful. The fact that you do speaks volumes of the kind of results you will receive. Period. The fucking end. Now, the other kind of like dimension to this is that, yes, of course, there's a certain wound, no question about it. There's a certain wound that is unprocessed. Your mom, your dad, whatever the situation is, was a narcissist. You really just learned abuse early on, and now you just continue to accept. You may be in your 40s, in your 50s, in your 60s, in your 70s, whatever, but you owe this to yourself to unlearn this abuse if you are to manifest a good life for yourself. And ultimately, I mean, I'm just going on the assumption that you want a good life for yourself first. And this is what I teach, all throughout my channel and all throughout my coaching. You have to have this love for yourself, this preservation for yourself, that like you're not going to descend to this level of accepting really shitty behavior from somebody, even if you love them, especially if you love them. Why would you sell out to somebody if you understand that you logically you understand? So people who come into my coaching, I really want you to understand, I will tell you exactly what I see in your relation. If you're struggling with a narcissist right now, it's not a matter of shoving it under the carpet. Fuck no. Why would you do that? It's a matter of acknowledging I have a unhealed wound that somebody is taking advantage of right now. Period. The fucking end. And the first things first, you need to stand up to this narcissist. And if they don't like it, too fucking bad. You need to rediscover yourself, your strength. You need to work for yourself in that sense, in this life. And then, chances are, if you go to town on work on yourself and not too much abuse has happened, need to underline this. Why? Because your own mind won't let you believe that this person is changeable. And as we know, if you can't bring yourself, I always have said this on my channel, if you can't bring yourself to believing, if you can't even begin to believe and entertain a different version because so much abuse has gone on, you're wasting your fucking time. You're wasting your time. I'm telling you right now. I know it's not what you want to hear, but it's the truth. It's just the truth. Your mind will never see them differently. I've had a situation like that. And, this person, in the end, did come back, did apologize, and really tried very, very hard, to come back after, kind of like a couple of years of absence. And I just could not bring myself to seeing him in any other fashion. It did not matter to me anymore. I mean, he could have, bought me a diamond Rolls Royce and I couldn't give a flying fuck. Not that, gifts matter or whatever. I just couldn't believe it. And your mind doesn't believe it. So in that sense, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Don't say that it's going to get better. It's not. All the while you're putting up with it. And even if you're standing up, but you're still staying there, which is what I did with my drug addict ex, you're still staying there. That means you're accepting that abuse. Why would you do that? Why would you lower yourself to such depths of despair? You're not desperate. You're just a person who was conditioned to think that they're worthless. And so you're accepting this because chances are in the back of your mind, you're thinking, this is the love of my life. Okay, let me ask you a question really quick. Would the love of your life abuse you? Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think. How are they the love of your life if they're bringing you down, talking down on you, like really wreaking havoc on your self-esteem? Would the love of your life do that to you? This is abusive. And, if I were you, I'll give you the shortcut now and I will explain. And I know this is not what you want to hear, but you know something? A lot of the times when I give the harsh truth to people about what's really fucking going on, a couple years later, it has happened over and over, even on YouTube. I mean, I've been coaching for 10 years, as I said, and I've had a lot of situations like that when people have come back and said, Anna, you were right. I was just not ready to hear it. Of course I'm fucking right, because I've lived it. I've lived it and I've coached other people. You will never achieve this change in a person when you've disconnected. You're just lying to yourself the entire time. You've disconnected a long time ago. Physiologically, your body, okay, chemically is addicted to this drama. It's addicted. You don't love this person, okay? You don't. You understand that they're an abuser. Physiologically, though, on a chemical level, you are addicted to the drama. You're addicted to what they're doing. It's like what they call trauma bonding in psychology. If you detox from all of that crap that they've instilled in you and, like really capitalizing on the fact that you've been fucking abused before, not for nothing, but true story, they know exactly who they're picking. They sized you up, the first time they met you, and they said, yeah, I can manipulate this person every which way I want to. And they have. So, physiologically, you got addicted not to the person, but to the cycle. First they're nice for a little bit and it goes back to shit. Am I right? Of course I'm right. And it constantly escalates. There's no end to this fucking abuse. Why would you want such a crazy relationship in your life? You don't want to. Now, again, I'm describing an abusive person. There are people, again, on the spectrum that are narcissistic, but there's nowhere near this kind of situation. They may be self-entitled, they may be cocky, they may, not really have that much empathy, be a little bit kind of like whatever, all about themselves. Okay, it's a little bit a turnoff, but it's not abusive in that sense. So these are the people I'm talking about, just for clarity's sake. I'm talking about people who are not abusive, and it does exist in narcissism, okay? There are also narcissists that, have gone to therapy. I know of those people. I know of people in my coaching, meaning my clients' relationships, who were narcissists, like maybe a parent or an SP. Yes, that are, were turned around. Definitely got a whole lot better. But it was not unbelievable for my client that this person could turn around. In other words, if you're not able to manifest a different version and you've been trying for a while of this narcissist, if you've been trying to manifest a different version of this narcissist and it's not working, you yourself do not believe it for one flying second. You just don't. And you're fighting against the truth, okay? What I would do and what I had done with that relationship that I've briefly described, I just, processed everything I needed to process. I learned my lessons. I definitely reevaluated. It's definitely, you never stop growing. You never stop learning, okay? Every kind of unpleasant situation that comes your way, there's a lesson within it. Learn the lesson and move on. That's it. Learn the lesson. Thank the person for the lesson, for coming into your life and for teaching you how not to be, what not to accept. Okay? And can I tell you something? And again, I know this is not what you want to hear. If you really heal that wound, that childhood wound, that people pleaser, that wants to accommodate everybody and wants to put up with abuse and wants to give, but never receives. And this is why you're depleted. This is why you're unhappy. This is why you don't make the fucking money that you want to make. This is why you don't have the career that you want to have. Okay? If you really heal yourself and you really fucking go to town on loving yourself, when that person comes back, you aren't going to want them back. Not a single fucking cell in your body is going to be remotely attracted. In fact, you're going to be repulsed by this person. I've had this experience. It seems like it's oh my God, I gotta get this person and I gotta change them. And you see, the emergency of it gives you away. This is how frantic they made you. If you're in that state, either of two things. I mean, maybe you're not dealing with a toxic person, but that's not the conversation we're having. Being frantic either way doesn't serve you, but you're frantic because they made you believe that there's something special and that you would lose out if you ever didn't follow whatever the fuck they told you to do. It's a lie. It's a lie. They're not that desirable, is the truth, and they fucking know it. They have to condition their partners into this addiction, the mental brain chemistry addiction. Otherwise, they have nothing. They have no game. They're pathetic losers in that they completely bank on manipulation, and they know it's a literal addiction. Your brain gets used to this cycle and it craves this person on a chemical level. That's not love. Love is very peaceful. Love is very steady. Love is very secure and safe and looks out for you. This person should be looking out for you, not bringing you fucking down. Fights, okay. Disagreements, okay. But when somebody goes out of their way to make you feel like shit, it's game over. Time to say bye-bye. And again, this is not manifestation. This is just self-respect. And if there's any salvaging of that relationship, you start with self-respect. You don't go back to people-pleasing and to obliging this fucking narcissist of whatever the fuck they want. It doesn't work like that. It's a never-ending road. You're going to be depleted. You're going to look back, I don't know, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, whatever it happens to be. And you're going to be like, what the fuck was I doing with my life? It all went to waste. You know, I spent with my drug addict ex-boyfriend, we were together like almost 4 years on and off. To me, it was like the most colossal waste of time that I've ever spent with anybody in my life. Time I can't get back. Now, in retrospect, going back, looking back, it doesn't seem like such a long time. Nevertheless, it really, it did a number on me back then. And I had to really detox from the situation and start recalibrating myself and remind myself and bring myself back to normality and remind myself of who I really am. And that takes a lot. So, listen, the sooner you start this process, the better. The clarity that you seek is not in manifesting another person. The clarity that you seek is, what the fuck am I doing with my life that, first of all, I manifested this person. Secondly, that I'm still staying in this relationship. I should not be staying in this relationship. The changes has to occur for me to experience something different. If you're going to... action is necessary, in other words. You're not going to pray it away. You're not going to, manifest it away because you can't even stand up for yourself. How can you manifest any other version? Hello? It's obvious that you attracted this person because, yes, the mama drama panorama, we're in agreement. That's what needs the work. Bring yourself up to the golden Buddha status and then decide if you even want this fucking person. But hanging on to this half-ass relationship that isn't serving you in any shape or form, I don't know what you're doing with your life, And again, in coaching, I will tell you what I think. It's up to you to do things in your life. I'm in no position to tell you what to do. I can suggest, I can advise, but you yourself, you have to take these actions in that sense. If you really are serious about leading a happy life. Otherwise, good luck, quite frankly. And, the other thing I wanted to say is that when I was recording that old audio, I think I was coaching on YouTube for like a year at that point, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And truth be told, the stories that I've heard off of YouTube from different people, I thought my situation with my drug addict ex was bad. There's some really bad situations that are, going on with you guys. So, that's no way to live. That's no way to spend your life. Say no to that. Completely refuse to be that people pleaser. I know it's hard. I know it feels like you're gonna like fall apart and will not be able to survive without this person. It's the other way around. This person needs you for their supply, for the energy that you bring. They know how wonderful you are. They know how nurturing and loving and caring you are, and they're taking advantage and you're letting them. That's fucked up, you know? That is completely waste of time. As I said, you owe yourself the answers, the clarity, the self-sufficiency without this person, and then look at them. And like I said, chances are, if it's gone so bad that they have disrespected you over and over again, lied to you, cheated on you several times over, completely disrespected you emotionally, and in different ways just brought you down to the point of like you don't have an identity in the relationship. It's only what they say. That used to be me with my drug addict ex-boyfriend. How are you, in all honesty, supposed to humanly then look at them and be happy with this person? Don't worry, I'll wait. It's not even funny. It's very, very sad. And some of these situations that I've come to know a lot of people off of YouTube is quite frankly heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. This is not a joke. If it's gone to such a point in some that it's gone to the point of abuse, it's game over. It's game over. You know it and I know it, okay? If it's just somebody who's being a little bit douchey, excuse the word, I don't particularly like it, just being an asshole. Being an asshole, not being considerate, this and that and the other, but not really abusive, okay? Just being an asshole. Just being inconsiderate, just maybe even cheated, this kind of, okay, whatever. But if it's repetitive and if it's designed to bring you the fuck down, time out. Like really, just it's time to go. It's time to go. It's time to go heal, like I said. It's time to really reassess what the fuck you're doing with your life. Because believe me, you're going to thank me. You're going to come back and thank me later. Maybe, like I said, maybe this is not what you want to hear right now. But believe me, I wish somebody told me that. And even though it would have been hard to hear, I would have still it would have sunk in. Okay, and it would start to kind of like cook in my mind. But nobody told me anything because, I didn't have family here, still don't, and there are no relatives in that sense, etc., etc. Nobody was there, and all my friends were really impressed with my drug addict ex-boyfriend, how wealthy he was, and this and that, and all this bullshit that doesn't really matter. It just matters how they treat you. Period, the end. If somebody demonstrated to you over and over again that they're not your friends, you should believe them. You should believe them and just, say goodbye. Say goodbye. If they want to later prove themselves to you, then after you healed, you can then decide, okay? And they really have to work hard for that. Really, 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 okay? I think in a lot of cases like these, this person is not really your soulmate, okay? Again, I know it's not what you want to hear. It's not your soulmate. It's a catalyst to level you up. That you being bogged down by it is a problem, just like I discussed in the live yesterday. Some people are just catalysts. They come into our lives to teach us how not to be, what not to put up with, what kinds of ideas to let go of, okay? What not to do, how not to be, and who to be. That's it, the messenger. They're just there, the messenger, and it's very helpful if you start looking at people in this way. A soulmate, like I said, is somebody who's who would treat you like you would treat them. Period. Just very simply ask, would I treat this person this way? And chances are you haven't. Absolutely, because you're a people pleaser and an empath. So why are you putting up with the same? They facilitated something for you. They brought you clarity, ideally, hopefully through coaching, maybe, etc., etc. But one thing I want to say to you, and I'm going to close with this, please don't lie to yourself. Please don't close your eyes on anything. The truth is wide open and clear, right, staring you in the fucking face. Okay? Why would you lie to yourself? Why would you further abuse yourself by accepting this and then saying, no, this is not abuse? It is abuse. If it feels wrong, it is wrong. If it's gotten to such a point where you're now in denial and you're using manifestation, okay, to try to manifest a different version, I'm sorry, but you're a liar. You're being a liar to yourself. How you like that? You lying to yourself about what's really going on. It's not manifestation you need, my darling. You need to grow a pair, okay, and have some confidence in that you deserve a lot better. On that note, thank you very much for listening. All the information from me is below. Until next time. Ciao, ciao.